Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I have a stranger who just walked in my studio. I'm Brent Hazard. Who are you, sir?
My name used to be Malcolm Johnson. Now it's Malcolm K. Johnson.
Why K?
I had to give my whole government name for when I run for office, it would be official.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your middle name?
Kelsey, man.
Kelsey.
Like I'm supposed to know that.
It used to be Kelsey Johnson on Facebook. You remember that?
We used to not like each other.
Oh, man.
On Facebook. But I'm Brent Hazard, and we have Mr.
And I'm glad to be here, sir.
You were. I was a little hurt. Mr. Hartley never heard of me. He was sitting like, "Who's this big white boy sitting here?"
Well.
I was my ego. You know, you need that every now and then to keep the ego in check. Mr. Hartley, for those who do not know about you, sir, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I've been I've lived in Jackson now for like 23 years, and worked for the city of Jackson, worked for the state environmental protection agency, and been on the city council for almost 2 years now.
So much we're going to unpack there, but we want to take this moment to give our condolences to Kenny Stokes and Judge Cooper Stokes' family. As everybody knows, Judge Cooper Stokes passed Sunday night, I do believe.
Yes,
she was an excellent county court judge, but more importantly, when we're going to talk about all she did, she was a wife and a mother, and you know, you hate to see anybody pass, especially in front of so close to Mother's Day, but hopefully she is in a better place, and you know, as I was raised, we'll see her again real soon. But Malcolm, I know you were close with the Stokes. What does the passing of Judge Stokes means to you?
Well, the passing of Judge Stokes means a lot. It means that we've lost a great community person, also a servant as a judge, and then a mother, and a good God-fearing Christian woman. Anybody know Judge Loretta Cooper Stokes? When you say, "Good morning, Judge," she said, "Praise the Lord, God is good." She had a radio show for many years on WAD, and the name of the radio show was God is Good all the time. That was the name of her radio show. And she was just a God-fearing woman. And you know what? Councilman Stokes is a friend of mine, and I would like to say, me and him talks on the phone a lot between maybe 11:30, 12 at night, and 4 in the morning. That's when he liked to talk, late at night. And there's never been a time I pick up the phone and call their house, even if she was asleep, she'd pick up the phone. She would say, "Kenny, this is Malcolm." And he would, go out the room to talk because, she was asleep. But there's never been a time she'd say, "Don't call my house. You call Brent Hazard after 11 o'clock at night, he give you some old reason like, 'Hey man, it's 12:30 at night, man, what's wrong with you, man? You gotta be in jail.'" I'm like, "Man, I'm just calling to tell you I love you. You love me."
I see what side you're picking on this.
I just thought it was funny. I just thought it was funny.
You're ex-military. You understand this. My friends are behind me. My enemies are in front of me.
That's
Ain't
right.
nobody anywhere else. But Councilman, what does the passing? What does Judge Stokes? What does she mean to you? And what does her passing mean to you?
Well, I'm not as acquainted with Judge Stokes as I am her husband. But, from everything that I know of her, she was a fine city councilwoman, right, and also a judge, and that tracks. Her husband, Kenny I. Stokes, he's one of my favorite people. Period. Okay, I love the man dearly, and I know that in his heart, she had a special place. And man, just a beautiful example of love and companionship, and just everything great. I visited both of them in her hospital room a few weeks ago, and Kenny was on this. The big frame guy, Kenny. He was on this little cot-like thing, and that's where he stays. And so, what it means to me is that we've lost a great public servant, and Kenny has lost a key part of his heart, and we all going to surround him and love him, and we're going to move on.
Well, a wise man once told me when we passed, there's only two real tests: how you are as a child, and were your parents proud of you, and how you were as a parent. I didn't know her, Judge Stokes' parents, but I know they would be proud of her. But you can just look at her children and what outstanding children they are to tell what type of person she was.
But let me add this. I knew her father. Mr. Cooper was a wonderful man. He owned the Silver Brass store right there on Woodrow Wilson. And so in the first Jackson State tickets I had to buy, I had to washing cars on Saturdays at his store on Woodrow Wilson. Matter of fact, they just tore it down, the building down, in the last probably 3 to 6 months. They tore it down, and Mr. Cooper was a trustee. I think he was the last official trustee of New Hope Missionary Baptist Church. And just a great guy, drove a white van, and if you saw him, you knew him. He just looked like a guy that just a normal guy. But if you really knew him, he had a son that was a doctor, a couple of children that were lawyers. And then she done the same thing. Judge Loretta Cooper Stokes got a son that's a doctor, a daughter that's a lawyer, another daughter that's, I think, an educational doctor, not a medical doctor. But all her children and Kenny's children are either doctors or lawyers. So they practice education.
Very impressive.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now, I want to get to our guest.
Okay.
You mentioned a lot there in your intro, but you're also ex-military, are you not, sir?
That's correct.
How many years?
I did a total of 30 years in the Air Force.
Okay. Where do you originally call home? Where's home?
I grew up in South Carolina.
Okay. What part?
A little rural area south of Columbia called Vicksburg, Leesville. Similar to towns around here like, say, Macomb or other little smaller towns.
What high school?
Vicksburg, Leesville, B&L Panthers.
Okay, after high school, what did you do?
I went directly into the military.
Okay.
Actually, I signed up while I was still a senior in high school. I signed up for the Air Force and had my job waiting to go off to training after I graduated.
And when did you get out of the military?
Actually, when I was here working for the city of Jackson, I was reserved by that time, and I got out of the military around 2008.
What was your final rank?
I was a senior master sergeant.
Nice. Now, how did you get to the Jackson area?
Initially, down in Biloxi, I lived there, the Air Force, after I came back from Germany. I dropped off in Biloxi. I took a job as an environmentalist with the state, and eventually they promoted me to their Jackson office.
Let me interrupt you there. How long were you in Germany?
3 years.
What did you learn living in Germany?
I learned.
What are the differences a redneck from Greenville, Mississippi would not know?
Well, it became home.
Okay.
There's so many things about other cultures that I wish a lot more people would get to know, but we don't have the exclusive rights on beauty, on government, on society living in harmony, on clean environment. There's a lot of great places all over Europe where people can live, and it's just amazing.
Did you live in any other countries besides Germany? For a significant amount of time?
Not for a significant amount of time, but I've done duties in Central America and all over Europe, and actually all over the United States.
Now, I was told by a friend of mine who served in the military in Germany, they don't have welfare, they have workfare. Is that true or not?
I am not sure. I pretty much had a job.
Yeah. He used to say that they would help you, but there'd be a truck saying, "Hey, come on with us."
And again, like I said, there's a lot of features in a lot of other countries just that works. That's amazing, and somehow we get limited to our thinking. This is the way it is in this country, and it's the best, and that's just not necessarily so.
Well, I mean, another friend of mine told me America thinks 400 years is a long time.
Right.
And, to us, it's 4,000. What was your job in the EPA?
State, military, I did water analysis, drinking water, wastewater analysis in Germany. And when I got back here, I started out environmental, actually solid waste management over the 17 southern counties of Mississippi. I worked for MDEQ, and I was their inspector analyst.
Okay. Yeah. Now, what made you want to stay in the Jackson area?
Well, when I landed here, man, that was it. I landed at the corner of Robinson and Ellis, and I looked around, and I My car.
What year?
This was 1999, I believe.
Okay.
And my car broke down. Old Toyota broke down. And a couple nice elderly couple pushed me out of the way and took me to the parts store. And then after that, I drove through some of the neighborhoods and I saw the people and I talked with them. And I'm like, West Jackson's the place to live. I would not consider any other place living in Jackson.
Okay, now you obviously. Well, when did you? What made you run for city council?
Well, I had been retired for like 7 years working with nonprofits to try to clean up Jackson, Jackson Association neighborhoods, keep Jackson beautiful. I became president there. And all the time I'm on the side of the road, I'm wondering, why isn't stuff happening? Why am I here? Isn't there someone being paid to do these things? And, with my background in government and environmental, I knew that, I have something to offer. And I have been offering it without a position. Now, this gives me more of a tool to help on a larger scale. And so that's why I decided to run almost 2 years ago.
Were you the first person in your family to run for an office?
Yeah, absolutely. There are no politicians in my family.
Now,
there are public servants, yes, but no.
How so?
My sister was head of procurement for the state of Columbia, South Carolina, and she worked for the city. My mom was a social worker at one time. My brother worked over transportation for a school district. I mean, it just kind of runs in our blood, that ideal of helping people outside of our families.
Now we're going to come back after this break and talk to our guest about his EPA experience and the environmental issues facing Jackson. But before we take a break, Malcolm, I know you were honoring some women today. What was going on with you today?
Well, today, Brent, I had the opportunity to. This is the 45th year of the Women for Progress, and they had the annual luncheon. Now, Brent, they got things scheduled for the whole week. They had something on Sunday night, which was a beauty show, a beauty pageant. What you call it when they walk on the stage?
Beauty pageant?
No, with modeling. They model. They had a modeling thing. I think they had a wine tasting event last night. Today they had a luncheon they honored women of media. And you won't believe who somebody they honored, Brent. One of your good friends, Brent, Donna Ladd and Miss Anna Wolf.
Well, Anna Wolf had a big announcement today.
Today?
Pulitzer, if I'm saying that.
Pulitzer
Prize winner.
You kidding? Really?
No, yeah.
Wow, big congrats.
Oh, it's huge.
That's big.
For those who do not know, that is like the award for a newspaper
That's the top.
reporter.
Yeah.
There was like a group of them. There was a group from Ukraine that won for their reporting.
Wow.
And there was a group in L.A. that was doing the
Well, she was there today. She was honored. Deanna Tisdale, the Jackson Advocates owners, she was honored today. Wanda Elbers was honored. And I got one, Erin Pickens and Alice Marie Tamara Cherie off the TV show, Miss Juanita Brown, but it's one special one. Lady V was honored, but I got to say Dr. Elaine Anthony, who's the interim president of Jackson State, was there today, and she was the first black news anchor in Jackson, Mississippi in her time, in her younger days out of college. So it just was a blessing to be there today. Miss Willie Jones is the president of Women for Progress. I know you know about Women for Progress. I know they got a big gala Saturday night. Also, they got a VIP event Friday evening.
You had mentioned, but I think I believe Saturday, I think it was a fashion show.
Yeah, fashion show. That's
right.
Y'all had it off, man. You know, when you see that light up there?
Yeah.
That light and Brent bald head, man, it messed my eyes up. So I was
seeing.
Go ahead and laugh.
I'm not gonna laugh this time. I'm not gonna laugh this time, man.
All I
can say is we can get some shades for you, okay?
We're gonna come right back after this break. We'll be right back.
Looking for the hottest content in the city of Jackson and surrounding areas? Check out WeBelieveDigital.com. Also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We Believe Digital Podcast is here for all your podcasting needs.
The Mississippi Link is an African-American female-owned newspaper with a trusted voice that is highly respected throughout the city, state, and nation. Our motto, keepers of the knowledge for people who speak the truth, since 1993. Link significantly influences the thoughts, attitudes, and buying decisions of its readers. Call us at 601-368-8481 for your advertising needs. If you would like to receive a newspaper in the mail each week, our annual subscription is only $52 per year. That is only $1 per week for you to stay informed regarding many stories that you can only get in the Mississippi Link. Sign up today at themississippiLink.com and click on Home Delivery.
Brent Hazard with Malcolm Johnson back with our guest. Now we left.
Hey, can I ask for some special permission for the next 90 days? Can I be called Supervisor Malcolm Johnson on this show, Brent?
I've endorsed
The Bible say you have to speak things as if it's already happened. We got to speak it into existence, Brent.
So let me ask you this.
Let's start over. Start the tape over and let Brent redo it. Start over.
If I do
our
this,
next supervisor.
If you've already won, I don't have to give you any more money. I'm okay with that. If that's the deal, if that we're speaking.
Let's leave it like it is, Brent.
No, speaking of that,
you fine with the arrangement.
We do have a fundraiser on North State Street, 932 for you. We'd ask anybody to go by, but you got to make a donation.
That's right. Make a donation.
932 North State Street, Jackson, Mississippi, Thursday, June 1st, 4:30 to 6:30.
That's right.
But now that we've got that taken out of the way, we're back to our guest, Mr. Hartley. Mr. Hartley, did you get into politics because of the environmental issues, or is that just a coincidence that Jackson's going through some environmental issues right now, and you have a probably most qualified man maybe in the city?
Well, look, I've been I've been tracking all of Jackson issues, and I was employed with the city of Jackson for a number of years as well. So I'm familiar with the issue, but that's not the reason. Because I'm an environmentalist, because I'm professional in water quality, solid waste background, that's not the issue I ran. It was really more to do with what could I do at another level, because I see things that are not happening that I know should be happening.
What do you base that on? Because, look, since you don't listen to WNPR, the Richie and Harris show, it's okay. Once again, you're on Team Malcolm, not on Team Brent. But with that said, a guy from South Carolina is going to pick you, but I'm not going to go into detail, but, some of y'all know what I'm saying. But I don't know what I'm saying. But with that said, what is my biggest frustration with the state, Jackson, the Delta, I'm from Greenville, Mississippi originally, is that no one really understands what we're capable of. No one wants to dream big enough. No one wants to, everyone's satisfied with being last. And we've had many conversations on the show about it. What do you base that on, and how do we fix that as a city, but more importantly as a state?
First of all, I think that you had asked about my qualifications and stuff. I think during the time I was with Mississippi Department of Environmental Quality, I was a basin coordinator for the Pearl River. Okay. I ran a team of federal, state, and local agencies, like 27 of them. Had team members, and we went through a stage where they protected the Pearl River. Okay, so that was my
protected from what?
From pollution.
Pollution, okay.
Right? Like controls and stuff, and making sure that we're aware of the environment and how it's sustaining itself, and how we. Folks on land is contributing to any problems with it. But that's not the reason that I decided to run the environmental part. It was mainly that I looked around and I thought, look, City of Jackson can do great things.
That's right.
It can be that great monumental city. One thing I wanted to know, what was the problems? Okay, I've done service time in public works. I started looking around as the years went on, and I see these public works things that were going down. So, to answer your question, I think one of the hindrances to us being that great, powerful city example is that we have to acknowledge, number one, where we're at and what we're doing. We have to make sure that everybody's hand is on deck. We have to communicate to each other. We have to be honest with each other. We have to have that same vision, and everyone has to pull that line of having that vision that we are going to be great. But we cannot start out with great. We have to start out with let's take care of our citizens' basic needs, period. And let's build from there, get their confidence, get their trust. Once we do that, we're honest with them all the time as we move up. They will tell us how to become great. The same with the state. A lot, like I said, I've covered at least 17 counties on a job for 13 years. A lot of times it's what the people want. Mississippi is unique in the fact that you can't just take in a template from some other city and put it right here and it works. The people are originals here. Yeah. Our land is original. Our thoughts are original. Everything. Yeah. If you want to design something that's going to work, you have to tailor it to right here.
That's right.
Because it's not going to work in other place. And to do that, you have to understand the people, and you have to understand the land, and you have to understand what you're dealing with. But we absolutely can get a better state. We have to get more educated.
Yeah, Councilman, I have a question.
Yes.
You just said that Mississippi is original.
Yes.
And what works here, works here.
Yes.
It's hard to bring other cities' cultures to Jackson, Mississippi. Yeah. I don't care if you come from New York, it's not going to work in Jackson. Yeah. If you come from Detroit, it's not going to work in Jackson. If you come from Milwaukee, it's not going. This man from Greenville, and it do not work in Jackson.
Right.
You hear what I say?
Yeah.
And you just said Jackson is unique, right?
It's unique.
It ain't nowhere like it in the world.
No.
You didn't know that, did you, Brent?
Anyway, with that said,
he knew it. I got you, Brent.
Well, let me say this. I believe certain principles like hard work, investing in community, eliminating the me and focusing on the we will work anyway, but I understand what you guys are saying. But now let's get back to you, Councilman. Going forward, we've talked about environmental. Let's talk about crime. Okay? And while the environmental is important, it's not, and it's a necessity, I'm not putting it back there, is to crime as an ex-prosecutor that concerns me. What is why are we having a spike in crime, and what is your philosophy, or what is your plan to handle the rise in violent crime? And then, and I'll stop there because I want to follow up with the capital.
So you want me to fix crime?
No, I'm just asking. Let me ask you this. What is the city councilman, in your opinion?
Okay.
What is the city council's role in crime?
Yes. And
what is your personal philosophy about how to fight crime?
Okay. Role-wise, first of all, Tip O'Neill, the late speaker, said that all politics is local. Crime-wise affects me and my house first.
Local.
And then there's an issue, okay? And then I expand it out to my neighborhood, and then to the ward, then to the city of Jackson. As a city councilman sitting there at the council, I'm looking for anything and everything that the administration put forward that can help crime in my neighborhood. I'm ready. Then I have to evaluate it and vote on it. But I would say 97% of the time, if they put anything forward, once we ask a few questions, I'm going to vote yes. Crime is a detriment to our businesses, to the population, to just our quality of life. It's critical that we get that part correct. Now, what do I do on a local level? I believe in the COPS program, Citizens-Oriented Policing. It came out during the 60s and 70s because cops were seen as just being overhanded and weren't really individualizing neighborhoods and people. So I participate in that. We have a meeting at Precinct 2. We have a meeting this coming Thursday night at 6 p.m. at the Metro Center. Okay, that's on the second Tuesday. But with that program, it embraces the fact that we have to have a level of communication and trust between the police and the community. The people in the community, especially neighborhood leaders, should be able to call up police and say, hey, this going on, da 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 da. They get together and say, okay, this is how we're going to handle it. We're going to identify that house. We're going to come up with a plan. We're going to fix it. And that's what's supposed to be happening at our cops meetings.
That's right.
And that's the most important thing is so the citizens can step up and say, hey, here are these issues, police, how can we work together to come up with strategies to minimize these issues or eliminate them altogether. And I think that is the way to go. Unfortunately, right now we have a deficit for us police officers in the city of Jackson.
What is your understanding why we have that deficit?
Well, there's a lot of factors. First of all, I think, and I'm not one to blame it all on the whole world, but I think around the country we have a deficit. I think people aren't stepping up to be police. That's one thing. I also, here in the city of Jackson, we have so many competing municipalities, and now we have the Capitol Police. Some of our best and brightest from Jackson Police Department is moving to the Capitol Police. And so we have tried to, every time, we tried to be the one on top with pay, but someone else edges us out the next week or the next month. And it keeps going like that because police are in high demands. That's one thing, and I think there are other considerations we can look at, but we've tried a number of things in order to be able to retain police officers. We have advantages when it comes to our personnel benefits that we offer. Still, we got to keep banging on that thing until we get more officers.
Now, you mentioned the Capitol Police, which is involved with the Capitol complex or intertwined. As a city councilman, I've heard a lot of judicial voices. What is your opinion of the Capitol complex?
Well, my basic opinion is just overall, the Vernon in me is that, look, I want us to do it all ourselves. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of bright minds around the city. We have money. We have resources. And my thought is that we can do things for ourselves more. And in the way of this Capitol complex, mixed emotions. Some of my people say, hey, look, we feel more comfortable with the additional police protection. I understand that. A lot of people, they don't care what uniform the police show up in. They just want them to show up and help them. And so, I think it's, but overall, initially when the Bill 1020 came out, it talked about having separate judges, and that's all, which is crazy. Because we shouldn't have our young men and women to be pulled over by the state Capitol Police and then go to different judges than the ones we elect. So that didn't make any sense at all. And that influenced the whole picture for me. It said, okay, this is, I'm wondering where you're going with this, and what's next. And I've heard something today about this sewage thing, and we can talk about it later.
Okay. Malcolm, let me ask you this as someone running for supervisor.
Yes, sir.
What is your opinion on the Capitol complex, the current day, or the one that was actually brought into law?
Great question, Brent. I agree we need more officers in the city of Jackson. We need more officers in Hinds County. We need more officers in Canton. We need more officers in Gluckstadt. We need more officers in Pearl.
Yeah.
And we need more officers in Greenville. But people have they kind of misunderstood about the Capitol Police and about the 1020, I believe. I believe that it needs to be broke down. It needs to be explained to the people really what's going on and why it's going on. And for that being said, at the time right now, we got a shortage in our Hinds County Sheriff Department. We don't have enough officers. We don't have enough jailers at the jail. Ain't the sheriff fault. People just do not want to work. The sheriff paying $40,000 a year. Jackson Police and the city council took their pay up to $47,000. So when they went up to 47, the Capitol Police went up to 65. So long as, there's nothing across the board where everybody is making the same, they're going to continue to chop each other head off, and then officers transfer and leave. Jackson have always had a reputation of train them, and you go to Jackson after they pay for school and get them trained and give them 6 months on the job, and you're going to get some good officers and take half of the officers in Clinton, they say.
Went through Jackson.
Yeah. That's just what it is. Now, personally, we need more policing.
We do.
It was 13 armed robberies last Thursday night by some 13 and 15-year-olds in Jackson, Mississippi. I listened to the radar. They had robbed so many people, man. They went back to the location they had just robbed an hour ago and robbed some more people. So when they get to that point where crime is that bad, then you need more officers. Cameras react, police proact, meaning they're already at the gas stations, they're already on the roads, they're already in the communities when the criminals come. So if Mr. Vern Hartley dialed 911 and say, a guy with hazard on his tag just shot up in a house and he's on Lynch Street, he can take a left and get the guy, Brent. You know what I mean? If they see a little red car, a little blue car, a little white car, and had Brent Hazard on the tag, it won't be hard to find. But if you got a camera up there, it's going to be several days and hours before you get to the camera. And then by that time, mostly that car that the criminals are in, they have already changed the tag out or took it and put it in somebody's backyard and you never find the person. So I believe in police.
And one other point to that is that police cannot be the final source of order and protection in our surroundings. We have to give people hope. We have to get education.
That's right.
We got to get clean up the environment. A lot of times, Malcolm see me out there on my tractor and stuff.
That's right.
And I'm not out there just to get a suntan. Okay?
No.
That ain't it.
What kind of tractor?
I got an LS 40 horsepower compact tractor. But okay,
You got John Deere, man.
No,
I don't want to hear about John Deere. I don't want to hear about John Deere.
You know what's going on, right?
What I'm saying is, my dad was a tractor guy. You can spot a tractor guy. But go ahead, sir.
My granddad had a Chambers, Alice Chambers tractor.
My granddad had a mule.
Go ahead.
Okay, what I'm saying is that, look, we have to mount our own personal campaign against crime. In addition to expecting men and women to suit up and go out there and deal with all the all the stuff that they deal with, I don't know how they do it. My hat's off to JPD. I would not be standing in that line. And the fire department. Yes, we always forget the fire department.
Chief Owen's got to be a good one.
But we have to stimulate a culture that don't create criminals in the first place.
That's right.
And to do that, there's a lot of other factors, but like I say, we do what we can in our own little part of the world. Mine is going out to some of these depressed neighborhoods, cleaning up corner lots, picking up trash, cleaning up abandoned properties. So that's my contribution to crime. That's my fight against crime. Personally, every one of us need to take one part,
right.
And we need to work that one part in addition to the officers, men and women of the Jackson Police Department.
We're going to take a break right now, but I want to follow up with the councilman about the federal court suit involving Judge Wingate and if there's any recent developments. We'll be right back after these words.
SGE Solutions.com is paving the way forward for a safer city government, delivering cutting-edge biosecurity and biosafety protocols developed internationally by top virologists and scientists using an all-natural cleaning solution, killing COVID-19 on contact like no other product on the international market. For more information, please call 1-800-281-9080 or visit us online at sgecovidsolutions.com. Let sgecovidsolutions.com provide innovative rapid facilities testing and world-class state-of-the-art biorisk safety protocols for all of your coronavirus needs. Call 1-800-281-9080 or visit us online at sgecovidsolutions.com. Socrates Garrett ENT.com is a diversified firm specializing in recycled aggregates Crush Concrete. SocratesGarrettENT.com's recycled materials provide the construction industry with significant economic and environmental benefits by recycling clean concrete rubble into MDOT grade rock materials. Recycled aggregates and crushed concrete can be applied to driveways, road construction, bank protection, parking lots, general bulk fills, and more. By using SocratesGarrettENT.com's crushed concrete products, anyone from homeowners to general contractors can help reduce landfilled concrete waste, conserve natural resources, and gain significant economic savings on materials and disposal costs. For more information, please call 601-896-0084 or visit us online at SocratesGarrettENT.com.
Brent Hazard and Malcolm Johnson, we have our guest here today, but I want to make sure everybody understands when we're talking about fixing Jackson, we're talking about investing in small businesses. Socrates Garrett has Earth Blend, and he's trying to start the first coffee company in the Jackson, Mississippi metro area, probably maybe in the state. Please make sure you log on or find the website and order some coffee. If you don't talk about change, be about change. Now, Malcolm, you want to recognize some other small
I want to
businesses?
send a shout out to Mr. Patrick Chapman. He's the proud owner of the Chapman and N.L. Jones Funeral Services on Terry Road. That's right in District 5. He's brought a funeral home to Terry Road, and I understand that it's nice. I think he had 11 bodies in his first month, 2 months of being in service, and I think that's real good.
Well, from what I hear, and I experienced this with the passing of my father and mother,
Yes,
you
sir.
want someone to do a good job but won't take advantage of your emotional state.
That's right.
And that's what I hear is going on out there, which that he's making sure people get great services, but not, making sure he respects them. Because not every funeral home, like I said, you walk in there and they want you to get that $25,000 call.
36.
Yeah, and then,
And then steal your jewelry off your
Yes,
hand.
exactly.
Don't pay the employees. Pay some of them and not the rest of them. You know,
I hear
all that
he's
kind of-
treating people like they want to be treated, and I hear
That's
great
right, good guy.
reviews. So
Also, I would like to also say, I did hear this, that Judge Loretta Cooper Stokes' funeral will be next Saturday. I want to just add that in on the 20th, not the 21st, but next Saturday. So we have more information on that during the week, but I just wanted to put that there so we were talking about funeral. But Patrick Chapman is doing a wonderful job, and I know he got a special starting now, weekday special now. You can't get that special for a funeral on Saturday because it costs a lot of money on Saturday and Sundays to have funerals. But he got a weekday special. Now go back, Brent, to the show.
now, Councilman, as if some people don't understand, actually when the water was taken over, technically there was a lawsuit involved.
That's correct.
And it was basically Judge Wingate, because people don't understand, especially in Mississippi, because our Constitution's so old is one of the reasons I used to do some AG work. There's not a lot of laws about how cities and counties and the state all are supposed to govern, because back in 1880 everybody just kind of minded their own business, and we're living in a different world.
Right.
So you kind of had to have a federal judge come in and take over the water department. But I heard there was a ruling recently about that case. Am I incorrect, sir?
Well, right before we came on the air, I've gotten a text from, I think, a reputable source who mentioned the program Kingfish.
Jackson Jambalaya.
Yeah, Jackson Jambalaya.
His friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Malcolm might know.
Man, I'm joking.
His
Man.
name is Jimi Hendrix, but we might know him.
Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
That's my friend.
Yeah.
Kingfish is my friend.
He's a fine individual.
Yeah, he's a great individual.
Still around.
Yeah, I know,
He's
right?
still around, yeah. But I heard, and I haven't confirmed it with any government sources, but I heard that just like our water, drinking water, I got a message that Judge Wingate has now merged drinking water and sewer consent decrees under this third-party person, Ted Hennepin.
Okay.
So that, if that is in fact true, that would mean that the city of Jackson would not have the control over the wastewater side as well.
Now, let me go ahead and tell everybody this. Once you're in front of judges, federal judges, as city council, so obviously you're not going to hurt anybody's feelings. If you want to have to respect the system and not say anything, but what is your opinion of that? If you can give it. If you cannot give it, we completely understand.
Well, my opinion is that, that our citizens, they expect clean drinking water. They do not expect sewer to be bubbling up out of their backyard. And just like police, someone that could provide those things, they're all for. So again, I go back to my initial comment, and that is, I wish that Jackson had the abilities, the talent, and the record to take care of all of his issues, because that's what a city and city government is supposed to do.
That's right.
But when you are failing the people, and in this case, a federal judge said, "Hey, look, we got this guy Hennepin on the drinking water side, okay, and I think several months we had fairly good quality water. Now there's a lot of issues out there for us: backed up sewage running down the streets. I get calls all the time about that, and broken pipes. And so apparently this judge is going to merge both of those systems under this consent decree and give this third party power over the city.
So but let me ask you this right there. Put a comma right there.
Sure.
So that means that the sewage bill money will be going to him too, right? So the city then lost control of the water bill money, now the sewer money. Now, Rankin County just built a new sewer, and that $4 million a year that the city of Jackson was losing to that new sewer thing. It looked like we're finna lose some more money. Right?
Now, my understanding is the city of Jackson's not losing money; they're just not in control right now. Is that correct?
Some would argue. Well, and here's the thing.
Let me get
Go ahead.
It's just like you got a woman. You see your woman, but Mr. Byrne took care, okay?
Let me help you out here, okay? As long as money's coming in.
I'm talking about honey.
I know that, but what I'm saying
you got a woman,
you don't know the way I date.
And he getting the honey, you ain't gonna make it.
I'm not sexy, but I'm checksy. So as long as I'm getting this,
we just have fun, bro.
Look, man. And I'm sure he has a lot more money than I do.
No, I got $3.26 today. With that said, but yes, what I'm saying is, but no,
and his best friend Tay Reeves.
Yeah.
Oh, no, man, you're in the money. You are in the money. Yeah, you're in the money.
You really haven't listened to the show. Tay Reeves is my best friend. But no, the reality of the situation is, to me, I see this as a possible rebirth of getting a reset for Jackson and getting the finances they need and proper controls hopefully put in place where it can take care of itself.
Yeah.
But just give me you seem like you want to say something or something's on your mind. Give me that opinion or give me that statement.
Well, look, I got about 30 years in government.
Okay.
I think it's supposed to work, and I think it's supposed to work on the local level first. It's unfortunate that we are in this situation where we have to have other authorities come in and do something that we're supposed to be doing. That's unfortunate. However, you're absolutely right. This is an opportunity. Perhaps now we can add some more in funding, because what they're fixing is a lot of the pipes, the drinking water pipes coming into going throughout our city, and now there's an opportunity to fix some of the broken sewage issues and so forth. And I'm not sure, but it just seems as though this may be a concerted effort involving somebody planning out there, because drinking water has been taken over now. And if this is correct, wastewater
been taken over.
We get a audit report in from the state auditor's office, which basically says that our financial system is broken.
Now you're talking about Shad White.
Shad White.
A couple days.
Right. Yeah.
And he was very critical of the city's audits. The article I saw said Shad White audits the audits.
You know what I like? He got it in black and white.
Right.
He's just not talking.
Right. And here's the thing.
I like that, Brent.
And one thing, thank you. I appreciate that,
sir.
I like your tie, too.
Yeah.
Nice.
So Love Fest here today.
Yes, it is. Group hug. But what he's saying, and he compares the city of Jackson to, first of all, known standards.
Yes.
Okay, this is where we should be. Then he compares us to another similar municipality. Savannah, some other place that's kind of equal in what we have populations and et cetera.
He's using controls.
He's using those controls, and so what it's very damning, is what he's saying, pointing to our finances, and we really need to get that. We really need to take a real good hard look at that's what he's saying. But like I said, if he is coming up from the financial point, and then the water and wastewater, it just seems as though there's a lot of focus on Jackson moving in another direction.
Yes, sir. So let me ask you a question. And I have told Brent this. So I said on your radio show last week, Brent, when elected to the Hinds County Board of Supervisors, I would never raise my hand to vote, not knowing if we have money for that project. It's misleading to get on the board. Raise y'all 2 hands with me, and I'm going to show you. Raise 3 hands. We all vote, and we know damn well we don't have the money to do the job, to mislead the people. So that's something that I'm going to make sure that our budget person be in the meetings like it used to be. Yeah. Now, do y'all have an idea what y'all have in there? Reports?
Yes and no. Okay, and yes, we get, sometimes we can get reports before the city council meeting as to what's going to be, paid out.
I'm talking about reports on what we got in the bank.
Okay.
Are you voting on a hope, faith, or prayer?
Here's the problem.
We got?
When Chad White did this audit report, what he did is he went back for years.
Gotcha.
And he looked at all the audits in the city of Jackson is done by a firm.
Gotcha.
Okay, so he went back to the firm's report. The problem is we're behind. It's the Jackson Financial Accounting. That's an acronym for it, but basically it's our city's accounting part. We're always been behind. We've been behind, and being behind not just as a working tool, but illegally. We're supposed to have when we get ready to go into budget hearings, we're supposed to have the copy of last year's budget so we understand how much money is left, how was it used. But generally, we are a year or so out. We just got the 2021 audit, I think last month, the month before. And it was just, we need to have these documents done and up to date so we can make decisions.
Well, but one thing I think needs to be said, this didn't happen last year, this didn't happen 5 years ago. This was, in my opinion, this was what I call Northeast Jackson, where in 1988, and one of the biggest problems we have as a state, we're a small town community mentality where no one thought Jackson would ever fall down. No one would thought that having a majority white academy school system would ever hurt Jackson.
Right.
No one would thought that black flight would happen to Clinton, Terry, and Byron.
Yeah.
So Jackson wasn't being proactive. Proactive is not a word, by the way. Proactive. Yeah. But with that said, it was just bad planning. Where we're talking about, I do believe Kane Ditto's plan to have a $5 charge added to utility bills to replace pipes and to fix. Well, we don't need that. And like I said, I could be critical of Jackson, but I'm also talking about Greenville. Greenville turned down Delta State in the 50s. Greenville turned down Tyson Foods in the 80s.
Wow.
Greenville but it's that whole mentality where there's no we.
But they got a
it's
casino,
me.
right?
Yeah, but no, we could have had a chance to had the first casino. Now, because of other states, we've got to be proactive. Go ahead, sir.
Brent, I love your dialogue. But guess what?
What?
Greenville may be the king of the Delta. Y'all doing better than some of those towns.
But what I'm seeing here, though, it looks like I'm.
It may not be like Oxford or Starkville.
No, but what I'm seeing is 10 years. It looks like Jackson's 10 years behind what I saw in Greenville. Mm-hmm. And unless we start focusing on the we and start focusing on, the bottom. Well, let me ask you this: how do you focus, or how do you deal? Do you have an opportunity to deal with Madison, Ridgeland, Brandon? Because in my opinion, while they're fine municipalities, they're not going to survive on their own. And I get that mentality. They're not the capital.
Right.
And when you leave, as you know, because some people have never left I wish everybody would leave the state.
Yes.
For, and go 5-6 hours away, because people don't understand. Well, I'm from Brandon. Dude, you're from Jackson. I'm from Madison. Dude, you're from Jackson.
Right. You're absolutely correct. Without Jackson, those other places would
Correct.
exist.
And I mean, it's the same thing when people say, well, I'm not from Detroit. I'm from,
Flint.
Well, yeah, you're like, well, whatever, dude. But how do you, what is your current role with those surrounding municipalities, and what would you like it to be?
Well, I would say my current role is very, very little. I meet up with their representative at conferences and meetings, and we discuss mutual things. But I believe that to be really healthy, the city of Jackson has to have an outreach with all these other municipalities. We need them; they need us. We don't need to be draining our city and not know what's going on with them, and not having a relationship with them. They may have things that are that we can benchmark off. They may have things that are going on that's good. I visited over at City of Vicksburg. I visit there, talk with the mayor. I see him at meetings all the time, and I went over there to look at their program, which allows people with small petty crimes to work it off. They would go out, pick up trash and litter, but they will work off fines.
Read my campaign card right here. It's on that card.
It's on there.
Yes,
You got it. And
Yes,
that's
and it's on that.
and that's
Yeah, you talked about it on Wednesday. I was paying
Yeah,
attention.
but I want you to amen me when I say something right.
Amen.
You say preach.
Amen.
Yes.
I'd be so glad we got company here today. But anyway, go ahead.
Can I say something?
Go ahead,
Say something. Last week, the guy that shot the state trooper, you know the guy that was on the run?
Yeah.
He was all over the computer. Okay, when they caught him, now they caught him in Brandon. Guess where the news say he was caught at?
Jackson.
In Metro Jackson.
Metro Jackson.
That's crazy.
And that's
We got a bird speaking. Go ahead, Councilman.
But that's so important, though. These other municipalities have to understand who we are and what we are, and be able to reach out to us and work with us. Our city administration, our city hall needs to be out there cultivating these relationships, not just for things like programs, but like this incident, I think about a week ago, where you had police chasing folks into Jackson and ended up hurting about 7 people.
Those guys there, I think they was involved with some other things too, though.
Yeah.
A couple of those guys may have been involved with those robberies.
And my point is, the more we can get together and coordinate our efforts and have a better relationship, the better it's going to be for the entire Jackson metropolitan area.
We're running out of time, Councilman. At first, I want to thank you for coming on the show.
No problem.
But also, we have people leaving Jackson. What is the solution, and is there any way? I've heard some people talk about giving away maybe some of the abandoned properties to people coming either to Jackson State who are not citizens on visas or something like that. Is that a possibility, or what is the solution of getting people to move back downtown and back to Jackson?
Well, I think first and foremost, we have to take care of their basic needs. We have to be working endlessly on crime, on the potholes, on the sewage issues, and on our water. All those things that make it attractive to be here. I can't just blame a person for moving if they get a better condition, if they want to upgrade to the better quality of life. So first of all, let's work on those basic things. Secondly, let's look for those incentives. Let's be innovative. Hey, what do we have here? What can we offer to get those folks in? And like I said, you may have templates around the country, but what do we have here? Let's start. We have these abandoned houses. How can we get people into those houses? And because right now they're just empty, waiting for the next vagrant to move in and burn it down. And then it's a scar on the street and the neighborhood and the city of Jackson, period. So we have to, number one, take care of the basic needs, their quality of life issues, work all the time on that. Like, for instance, this is the agenda from today. I have 8 priorities in Ward 5. I'm looking for those priorities because that's what's going to keep my people in their homes. And when I see fluff stuff, I'm really not that pleased, because if you're not working on these issues, then you're not solving those issues.
So did your items get to the agenda?
I'm saying that, I kind of evaluate him and scanning over it. There was an issue on crime that was on there and just, getting equipment and so forth. But I'm looking at how they tie to these priorities. And when I get stuff in there on the museum, I'm sorry, my eyes just glaze over. Wow. Because that is not the priority of the people in my ward. So you handle the people's business and you also work on it endlessly. Our agenda should address the things that people are asking for. And if it doesn't, they're leaving.
Malcolm, well, once again, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
It's been a pleasure.
Look, man, I have these special glasses, and so no glare over here, okay?
Anyway, I still appreciate the councilman coming on and we getting to meet him. But Malcolm, before we leave, I haven't asked you, we've referenced it. How does the campaign go?
The campaign is going well, Brent. I'm going to be honest, it's going a lot better than I ever thought that it would be going. Right at 88 days out, people are calling, and we just reminding people that Malcolm Johnson campaign is going to keep it clean. We're going to do the right thing. We're going to serve. We're praying for the victory, and we will not embarrass the citizens of District 5 in Hinds County. We've been working hard remotely, giving away sweet potatoes, other things. We're trying to get a load of 300 or more watermelons to give out. And we got some other things that Friends of Malcolm Johnson is trying to put together just to stay out in the community and keep working. But I do want to tell the citizens of Hinds County, District 5, that on August 8th, Malcolm Johnson have the experience, been in the county 3.5 years, and also integrity matters. That's something that's very important, integrity. And integrity means you got to be something on the inside to stop you from doing crazy stuff and do the right thing for your people that serve.
Yes. Make sure you proact and vote for Malcolm Johnson August 8th. Hinds County Supervisor District. That's not my word. Anyway, that's for Brent and Malcolm. We thank the councilman for being by here.
So, how's State Reed's governor race going? I want to see.
We'll see y'all next week. Thank you.